Hello students, in my video series on biomolecules, today I am going to discuss a very critical and very important topic which you will encounter in any type of metabolism that you will study in future videos, whether it will be carbohydrate metabolism or lipid metabolism or protein metabolism or nucleic acid metabolism. Everywhere you will encounter some key concepts that I wish to describe in this video. So first let me start with the definition. The term metabolism implies all the chemical reactions that may be taking place in a living system. So these reactions are essential for maintenance of life, for sustenance of life, and they can be clearly classified into three basic types. First are catabolic reactions that involve breaking of large molecules and complex molecules into simpler ones. For example, oxidation of fatty acids. So you know that beta oxidation or alpha oxidation or omega oxidation, any type of oxidation breaks a large lipid molecule, fatty acid molecule into small units, means acetyl coenzyme. So clearly this is a reaction which breaks large molecules into small molecules, so it is catabolic. Similarly, conversion of proteins to amino acids or breakdown of glycogen into glucose, glycogen into all these reactions involve breaking of large molecules into small molecules, so they are called catabolic reactions. Conversely, there are reactions which involve synthesis of large molecules from simpler ones. Means if you invert these processes, means synthesis of, for example, synthesis of fatty acids that takes place in mitochondria or elsewhere is an example of anabolic pathway. Similarly, synthesis of proteins that takes place on ribosomes or synthesis of glycogen, synthesis of glycogen from glucose. This is also an anabolic pathway because it involves formation of large molecules from simple molecules. And now coming to the one more type, that is called amphibolic pathway. Students, in nature we find pathways which are both catabolic as well as anabolic. Means a pathway runs in two directions. It's reversible. So in one way it is catabolic, in the opposite direction it is anabolic. So such pathways are called amphibolic because they involve both catabolism as well as anabolism. And this term was introduced by B. Davis in 1961. And lastly, this specific term you might have encountered somewhere, and this is anapleuritic pathways. So you might have heard about anapleuritic pathways. These are pathways that connect two different pathways. For example, the most prominent example is Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle is an anapleuritic pathway because it forms the junction of catabolic and anabolic pathways. For homeostasis, it is essentially important that catapleuritic and anapleuritic flux should counterbalance. Students, the very first concept that I want to discuss is critically important for you to understand because you will encounter this concept in all the biochemical pathways, and this is about redox reactions, and you might have studied it in full detail in your chemistry classes. So here my intention is to present a quick recap of the concept that you might have studied there. As you know that oxidation and reduction are defined in multiple ways. Here I am giving a gist of the various definitions, and I hope you will be able to understand this concept clearly. See, for oxidation, the first way to define oxidation is that it is the addition of oxygen. For example, here you see, if A is reacted with oxygen and oxygen adds to this A and it forms AO2, so in this direction it is oxidation, and in the reverse direction it is reduction. So this is the first definition of oxidation, that it is the addition of oxygen. Conversely, reduction is the removal of oxygen. The second concept is removal of hydrogen. Oxidation is the removal of hydrogen. So here this is reduced form of B, and if it forms oxidized form on removal of hydrogen, so in this direction it is oxidation, and in the reverse direction it is reduction. And the third concept is of is based on electron, movement of electrons. So oxidation is defined as de-electronation or removal of electrons. So you will find reactions where there is no involvement of oxygen or hydrogen. Still you can define oxidation and reduction in those type of reactions. For example, here you see the sodium metal gives out an electron and it forms sodium ion. So here it is in this direction because it is giving out electrons, so it is de-electronation in this direction. So it is oxidation this way and reduction this way. Now the very important thing is that all these three criteria for oxidation and reduction can be condensed into very precise definition that is based on oxidation number. And oxidation numbers also you have studied in great detail in your chemistry classes, and you know the rules of calculating oxidation number. So in case of oxidation number increases, whereas in case of reduction oxidation number decreases. And if you remember the rules of calculating oxidation number, you can easily see how the oxidation or reduction is taking place in this reaction. For example, here I have summarized a reaction in which both oxidation and reduction are going on. So student, you see that normally oxidation and reduction always go hand in hand. When two molecules react, one is oxidant and another is reductant. So one is oxidized and it reduces the other one. Here you see, for example, this is ferrous ion, it reacts with cupric ion and it forms ferric ion and cuprous ion. So you see that oxidation number, if you remember the rules of oxidation number, you know that the oxidation number of an ion is equal to the charge carried by this. So here you see that oxidation number of ferrous ion is 2 and oxidation number of cuprous ion is equal to 2 and oxidation number of ferric is 3 and oxidation number of cuprous ion is 1. So you see that the oxidation number of ferrous increases when it changes to ferric. So this ferrous is being oxidized, and you see that this is cupric ion which is having oxidation number of 2 and it changes into cuprous which is having oxidation number of 1. So here oxidation number is decreasing. So this is being reduced. So what you see that is this ferrous ion is getting oxidized and cupric ion is getting reduced. So in other way we can say that this ferrous ion, when it changes to ferric ion and it gets oxidized, so it reduces cupric ion. So in that sense we can say that once it is getting oxidized, it is reducing cupric ion. So we can call it a reducing agent or simply a reductant. Similarly, cupric ion is decreasing its charge, so it's getting reduced. So in a way you can say that it is oxidizing ferrous ion. So it is oxidizing agent or oxidant. So in the context of redox reaction, what is important for you to understand is that we can arrange different metals and ions in the order of their increasing or decreasing, oxidizing or reducing strength, means their redox potentials. And when we do so, what we get is called electrochemical series. So here you see an electrochemical series, and this you can see, this is a very important rule that you should always remember, that if something is having a high affinity for electrons, so it means its reduction potential is high. It has a strong tendency to get reduced. That means it is a strong oxidizing agent. So all strong oxidizing agents have highly positive reduction potential. And if the opposite is true, means if something has low affinity for electrons, means it's not going to react with electrons, so it will have very negative reduction potential, and it will be a strong reducing agent. So this is an important rule that you have to remember. Next I will describe few important reducing equivalents that we encounter in biochemistry. Students, the whole purpose of discussing oxidation and reduction was to tell you about reducing equivalents. These molecules are in fact cofactors which participate in most of the redox reactions, and these are four common reducing equivalents that you will encounter in most biochemical reactions. First is NAD plus, that is called nicotine adenine dinucleotide, and a related molecule is NADP, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Then you have FMN and FAD. FMN is flavin mononucleotide and FAD is flavin adenine dinucleotide, and both these molecules are derived from riboflavin, that is vitamin B2. Now I am going to show you the redox reactions and how these reducing equivalents participate in those reactions. First see NAD, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and first you see the reaction that takes place when it accepts protons. So this goes like this. This is the oxidized form, and on reduction it becomes NADH, and one proton is given out. Here I am going to show you the structure of this molecule, so it will make things clear for you. See, this is having this nicotinamide ring, in which nitrogen is positively charged, and it is connected to dinucleotide. So here you see this is ribose connected to now connect this to adenine. Here you see this is this is adenine, these two are ribose, and this is nicotinamide. So this is the complete molecule of NAD plus, and when it accepts to proton, then what is the change? The change happens only in this ring. The remaining part remains same. So I am drawing this only. First, see here there was an H which is not shown. Now another H is added, and this positive charge on the nitrogen atom goes away, and it becomes like this. The rest of the structure is So here you see that on accepting these protons, this NAD changes into NAD plus changes into NADH, and H plus is given out. So you can write NADH plus proton is given out. So here you see the complete reaction in which this is oxidized form of NAD plus and this is the reduced form, and this is the whole reaction. After NAD, the next molecule is related to NAD and has only slight difference. It is NADP, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. And what is the change, students? Here it is on this position, you pay attention, NAD had H here, but NADP is having this phosphate group. So once you add this phosphate group here, then this becomes now it becomes NADP plus, and this is NADPH plus. So this is very similar to NAD, and the reaction, redox reaction, is also very similar to that of NADH. This is the oxidized form NADP plus, and this is the reduced form. Students, take special care to always write NAD plus or NADP plus instead of simple NAD or NADP. After NAD and NADP, the next important pair of reducing equivalents is of FMN, that is flavin mononucleotide, and FAD, that is flavin adenine dinucleotide. And both these reducing equivalents are derived from vitamin B2, that is riboflavin. Here I am going to show you their structure and the reducing reaction. Here you see first you have to make this ring. First you have to make this ring. And then this ring is called isoalloxazine ring. You have to connect it to this ribitol. So up to here it is, riboflavin. Then you add once you add this phosphate, then it becomes, up to here it becomes FMN, and once you add one more phosphate and connect it to, this is ribose as you see, and connect it to and here you add it to adenine. So this whole molecule becomes This whole molecule is FAD, and as you can see that it is not difficult to draw the molecule. Now I am going to show you the reduction reaction. Now let us see the reduction reaction. Students, please pay attention to what happens when FMN or FAD is reduced. So here you see that this is isoalexozine ring, and for the side chain I am just writing R. This is and this is oxidized form of alloxazine ring. Now see what happens with when this reacts with 2 protons and 2 electrons. It changes to form, and the only change takes place in this ring. So you see that earlier the bonds were in the oxidized form. These bonds were here and these were nitrogen atoms. Now you see that these two hydrogens, one is attached to this nitrogen and the second one is attached to this nitrogen, and this is reduced form of alloxazine ring. So if it is FMN or FAD, then on reacting with 2 protons and 2 electrons, it changes into FMN H2 or FAD H2. So this is in the reduced form. This ring looks like this, and in oxidized form the ring looks like this. This is the only change that takes place when FMN or FAD is reduced. In order to clear this confusion once again, I have written it here. See, in case of NAD or NADP, always you will write NAD plus or NAD plus, and in reduced form this is oxidized form and this is reduced. In reduced form you will always write NADH plus H plus and NADPH plus H plus, but this is not same in case of FMN or FAD. In case of oxidized form of FMN, you will write like this, and reduced form you will write like this, FMN H2. So you can see the difference here. In case of here you are adding one H and one proton, but here we will write FMNH2 and FADH2. Okay. Finally, I would like you to study about kinases, because in many biochemical pathways you will be encountering phosphorylation reactions. Students, phosphorylation reactions involve addition of phosphate group, which usually comes from ATP, and it goes like this. Whenever a phosphate group is added to any substrate, then ATP changes to ADP, and the enzymes involved in such reactions are called kinases. And sometimes the reversible reaction, means the reaction that removes phosphate group, is catalyzed by different enzyme, and in that case that enzyme is called phosphatase. So on several occasions you will be encountering kinases and phosphatases. So these were some important concepts that you should learn before studying metabolic pathways. I hope you will be strengthening these concepts and learning them carefully. In the next video, I will start carbohydrate metabolism. So please keep watching my videos and keep giving your feedback. you.